This is Coffee with Temmi. Remember?
And it was cold.
It was, it
It was
was.
cold
And
then.
again, it's winter. Again, it's winter. Welcome back to Coffee with Temmi, everyone. How are you doing? I think this is my first video in maybe 1 year or two. I actually haven't, I've been doing podcasts instead, but this one I felt we needed to do it the same way we did the first one. So, welcome everyone. Today I'm speaking to a mom, Patronella Diericks, that I interviewed 2026 years ago now
Mm.
about educational facilities that are available for children who have a unique way of learning. And I was going through my old videos and I thought, oh my word, this has been so long. Let's see, where are we now with well, a young lady now. She's now a young lady. Where are we with her now? What's going on and what was mom able to do? So I spoke to her. She agreed. Here we are. I think you're always ready for the camera, Patronella. You're always ready for the camera. Really.
I,
I
I
think
try
so.
to be.
Anyway, in your line of work, that's what you do every day. So it's second nature to you. I've forgotten how much it takes just to get up in front of the camera. I've forgotten. Okay, so 2020. We had this conversation about not being able to find the right kind of school or educational institutions that are open for children who had an alternative way of learning.
Mhm.
So, do you want to give us just a little bit of background of how you got to that place? Just for those who didn't see it, I will leave the link there for those who didn't see the first interview on
Mhm.
finding out that the young lady is not going to learn the traditional way. She hasn't been
Yeah.
traditional at all. Yeah.
So it was quite a challenge for us. I mean, by the time my daughter was in grade 5, 6, she
Mm-hmm.
was already struggling with certain subjects. So we were
Okay.
finding that as the subjects got more technical,
Yeah.
she would, and more technical and more abstract.
Mm-hmm.
She started falling behind with specific subjects. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, maths, when they start, doing those equations in grade 6, 7,
Okay.
in English, when they start talking about, prepositions and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
she really started to struggle.
Okay.
And at the time, the school she was in brought in an educational psychologist who came
Psychologist.
in
Okay.
and evaluated her. I had a friend who does this very interesting therapy called BrainWorks.
Okay.
She's a US registered child psychologist.
Okay.
Um, and she did an assessment with my child um and basically I got a report of how her brain works.
Works. Okay.
So and it was explained to me at the time that for your inverted commas normal, because there is no real normal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have a dominant right hand, a dominant right eye, a
Mm-hmm.
dominant right
Yeah.
ear, a
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
dominant,
Mm-hmm.
right foot. So everything is sort of aligned.
Okay.
When she was tested, she found everything was mixed up. So it would be, right hand but left foot and right ear but left eye. So everything was across her body was
Okay.
just a crisscross. Um, and we struggled at the time. The schools that offered remedial education, um, it wasn't easy. For her to be accepted at one of the remedial schools, we were staying in Kempton at the time. I think there were two possible schools. They wanted, the educational psychologist report, which I had. I had the BrainWorks report, which they found very interesting. They wanted me to have her assessed by a neurologist. So all of these barriers, and this was government schools, and I couldn't understand, um,
Why?
why, especially since it was a government school. And I managed to driving along Greenside the one day, there was a sign, I can't even remember what it said. This was
Yeah,
back
it's
in
okay.
20
This was a while ago
2014.
now.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
For educational support.
Okay.
So drove in, spoke to the lady, and she ran a small center. I think she had 4 or 5 girls at the time, um, who had similar challenges,
Okay.
and she was helping them get through GED, because I think the big concern for a lot of parents is I want them to graduate from high school,
At least.
because there's this big thing about what happens when they don't.
Yeah.
Um, so she was there with her for a while, and then that teacher got offered a contract with a much bigger school.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the center shut down. Um, and we were referred to another center where she never really managed to settle in.
Okay.
And then we moved. In 2016, 17, we moved to Lesotho. Um, Lesotho has no options. There is Lesedi, which is a school for it is it is registered as a remedial school
Okay.
by the Ministry of Education.
Hmm.
But when I went there, they were like, no, what the paper says and what we actually do here
Two
are
different
two
things.
different things.
Mm.
We are essentially a daycare for severely disabled children.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and that was the only option.
Mm.
And we managed to find, as we're, speaking to
Mm-hmm.
people and meeting people, I managed to get her into, there was one remedial school in Ladybrand,
Okay.
the Ladybrand School of Skills.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, um, they take kids from primary school up until grade 10. And then the children graduate with a school leaving certificate at grade
Mm-hmm.
10.
Yeah.
Um, and the premises are set in the Lady Brand Primary School,
Mm-hmm.
because when they tried to put these children in with the high school kids, they were getting bullied. So they
Oh.
moved them next door,
Oh.
and she got there. We had a couple of hiccups, but she found her feet and she flourished, and she graduated, and she did really well.
Mm. Okay.
And she got her grade 10. Um,
There's a
and
word you
then
used. Let me interject a little bit here.
yeah,
I don't want to forget. You said that you don't understand why there were so many obstacles because it was a government school. Why did you see them
yeah.
as obstacles?
It
You were
was
still trying to
obstacles. I
enjoy
mean,
work, yeah.
yeah, it was obstacles. I remember the getting the report from the educational neurologist.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I sincerely doubt they're asking this from everybody. It did feel at some point that they were being punitive,
Mm.
because my child had been in a private school before, and she hadn't come through the government school system.
Okay.
So that it seemed like they wanted all of these things from me, when there were other kids there from Tembisa, and a
These things
child
cost
from the
money.
township, it's
Hmm.
it's money. It's
Yeah.
money. The
Yeah.
educational
Yeah.
psychologist, the neuro whatever, wanted, I mean, the fee for the appointment was like 1,002, and then you still have to pay for the actual assessment. It
Hmm.
would
And the
cost about
consultation and this
the
and that.
consultation
Yeah.
and the fee, and
Mhm.
it adds up.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that is still the case. And I don't know if it was just,
I
them
think it
giving
does
us the
take a
runaround.
while, but now that you're saying this, the person that I had in mind, there was a family that I knew, and I'm realizing that they're also coming from a government, sorry, a private school, because the
Mm,
mother said exactly the same thing that you're saying. They want us to bring this, they want us to bring that, they want to, and I thought, why is it so difficult to get into a remedial school? But
yeah.
maybe they've like, well, you're already coming from a private school, so you can afford to do all of this. I don't know. I don't know. I was just wondering why you called it an obstacle. Mm.
But even then, I mean, even then,
Mm.
public schools were not equal.
No, no,
She was
even now
going
they're still not
to,
equal. Even
I
now they're
know,
still not equal.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
we were in a small Christian private school. Her
Mm.
school fees was like 800 rands a month.
Which
So
then
it
was a lot
wasn't
of money. At that time it was.
it was, but it wasn't comparing to other private schools in the neighborhood. We were still
Hmm.
the cheapest,
Yeah,
you
but you know,
know?
they don't tend to say you're in a private school. It's
Yeah.
like when I wanted to get, someone told me about a scholarship in one of the big private schools for high school, and then she said, "Oh, they're not going to let your child apply because she was already in a private school. They only want kids who are coming from." And I thought, you don't know how that child is being able to go to a private school. Maybe it was also scholarship. Maybe
Mm.
you are just doing everything to make sure that that child gets, but they wouldn't even let her apply. She had to come from a public school.
But that's an
Yeah.
old, it's like an old, it's an old story.
Yeah.
I personally have lived it. My
Mm,
father worked for the Lesotho government his entire life.
mm.
And I remember when we were the first cohort of IGCSE worldwide in
Okay.
1988. Um, my father was earning 750 rands a month. He had four children. My school fees a year
Hmm.
for Form 5, just the school fees, was I think 800 rands a term. I I don't know how
Yeah,
well,
you
I know
made
how we
it.
did it. We did it
Yeah.
with a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
We
Hmm.
we had seasons where, I don't have money to buy food. We've got a garden where we've planted. If you're hungry, go and dig up potatoes.
Yeah.
Go
Plus, you
and
do
get
whatever you can
spinach.
for your child, eh? You do whatever you can for
Exactly,
your
because he
child.
was looking
Yeah.
at, in the future, I should have a better chance.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And then to
so
be penalized for that, just so unfair. It's just so unfair. I
exactly.
know. I know. If you
And
could look
then
at, yeah, sorry, go on. Go on.
so she got her grade 10,
Hmm.
and then COVID happened. So she got her grade 10 in 2019, and then uh October. And I remember she graduated, and I went to the graduation. And then already on BBC they were talking about showing documentaries of how Chinese neighborhoods were shutting down.
Hmm.
And I remember saying already in October 2019 that if this thing is in China, it's already here, we just don't know it.
You're right.
And
Mm.
we're trying to figure out, what is she gonna do? She was like, "Can I please just have a year to just breathe?"
Just be.
So 2020 she was at home, and then COVID happened, so we weren't going anywhere.
Nobody was going anywhere.
Lesotho did a hard lockdown. Um, Borders were closed. Everything was shut.
Mm.
You literally, the end of our street going into town, there were soldiers, and Basotho soldiers, and don't play. They're not going to be nice to you. They're not. You stay
But they
home.
don't play.
And unless you can prove that, no, I really, I need to go, and I need to go to
Mhm.
the shops.
Okay.
Um, I remember saying I was going to get a flu vaccine, and they were like, "What is that? Go home. We don't do nonsense."
Oh, okay. Okay.
They were, and I was just like,
Mm.
you know, th- th- I've
Mm.
ordered it. I had to,
Mm.
get them to speak to the chemist who's
Mhm.
ordered it for me to
Mhm.
prove that yes, I've called her. Her things are here. Otherwise, they were sending me home. They were just not having my nonsense. Um, so we're home. We're 2020. There was an 18-month lockdown. Borders opened briefly in January, in over December,
Yeah.
shut again, and then opened in Easter.
Oh, really?
And then I got and then I had a job in Johannesburg. So we decided, hey, we can't risk this border that keeps shutting. The whole family came across. Um, but we're still trying to figure things out. Then I got a job in Malawi, and we left.
And then you left. Oh.
Um,
But she enjoyed
Malawi,
Malawi, didn't she?
She did. She did.
Yes, yeah, because I remember asking
Malawi
you.
had
Yeah.
no options at all for in terms of remedial education. We looked, we tried, even the colleges, we were not finding any options. We figured, we're here for a year, so
Mm-hmm.
she's getting an extended, break,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we tried to focus on other things, had her,
Yeah.
know, help
Mm-hmm.
support her in terms of just,
Mm-hmm.
the basic life skills, cooking, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved it. And then we came back to Johannesburg, uh, and I think this is the trap for other parents. These long periods between leaving high school and the next chapter of your life can work to a child's detriment.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, you need to go back to school. You need to go back to school. You need to go back to school. What can we do?
Mm.
With the grade 10, you can go to Tibet College.
Okay.
Um, okay, what are the courses? Okay, you also need to grow up. You need to look at these and make a decision for yourself.
Yeah.
At some point, I was like, okay, no, we're doing this. We are going. We went to the school. They showed her how to register online. We went home, she didn't do it. When I turn around, it's like, oh, did you? No, I got confused, so I stopped. Where did, and I look at what she's, okay, let's go back to the school. No, we've
Mm.
closed. So we had to wait again another year. And then we applied again, but this time I was on her.
Okay.
We took her to the school. I said, you will apply while I'm sitting here, and you will do this application at the school and finish it at the school. Um, and she did it. She
She did it.
she
She did it.
applied. She did it,
She did
and
it.
now she's studying. She's studying
Mm.
hospitality,
So that's what she,
which
that
is
was going to be my, I know she's in school, but I wasn't sure what it was that she was doing. So that was going to be my
yeah.
question, like, what is she doing today? But in this period between all of this happening, because I'm thinking, even as a mom, you're tired, you know? We go here, we
Mm.
go there, what am I going to do? And time is moving and all of that. How would you, okay, it's two questions I'm going to ask. How will you, if you could describe your emotional state then, is it possible for you to say, this is how you were emotionally? If you had one word, just one, to
Sure.
say, you're in this, at that time, even before COVID happened, and then you were stuck.
I was tired.
You were tired, yeah.
I was tired. I didn't understand why it's so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand when when there's so many children who struggle with conventional education. Why is it so difficult to find options, to find
Do you think it
support?
was okay? If you had not been in that place where you had to have you had to look for a place for your child, would you know there were so many children in that same situation?
No, I wouldn't. And what honestly helped me was speaking and telling people
Mm-hmm.
that I'm struggling, I need help.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally only once um once we started speaking to the school and started speaking to other people and started speaking to other parents, um and then literally just driving past random places and, oh, educational whatever, I'm going in there
And then stopping,
and knocking on
just
doors.
visiting. Yeah, walk-ins. How do you think
Yeah.
she felt? I know she's a happy-go-lucky child, at least then. I mean, she's a young lady now, and we are not really talking that much. But she just used to smile, and she was just happy. But I'm trying to imagine if she had to go do this test, go do that test. Did she talk to you about how she felt?
No, no, not really. For her, it was just like I think because I don't hide things from her,
Okay.
and I try and be open that,
Okay.
okay, we're having challenges. You're having challenges understanding X, Y, Z.
Okay.
Um, in the ACE system that she was in is quite
Mm-hmm.
is unique in that you do a module, and then when you finish the module, you write the test. If you pass it, you move on to the next one in the subject.
Okay.
So at some stage, she was doing some grade 7 subjects, some grade 6 subjects, some grade
Okay.
5
Hmm.
subjects.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I heard
it
about
wasn't
it. Yeah.
tenable.
Okay.
You know, how
Mm-hmm.
because at some point all of her friends were moving on to other grades,
Mm-hmm.
and moving out of the sort of the middle school into high school.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still stuck there because she's still got modules
That she had not finished.
that
Mm.
she had not finished.
So she didn't see how she was feeling. She didn't express
No,
frustration. No.
no.
It was just
She
like,
was just, I
well,
don't understand it, I don't understand it, and that's just
that's
the way it
it.
is.
That's the way it is.
Mm.
Okay, so between that time and now, because I have seen changes in her, but that's me on the outside. How do
Mhm.
you think she has grown? In what area have you seen growth in her?
She's still, that's an interesting question because I think as a mother, you default to mommy who 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 nags, who wants to get things done,
I
who wants to
know.
push.
Mhm.
But I mean I now know that I can leave her. She is a proper adult.
Okay.
We have left her and her little brother and traveled for a couple of days on business or whatever, and come back and the house hasn't burnt down and everyone is fed. Schedules
She's
haven't
in
been missed.
mid-20s now, right? She's in her mid-20s?
Yes.
Yeah, she's in her
Yes, she's in her
mid-20s now.
mid-20s now.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
Now she is at the TVET. She's got a little group of girlfriends, and one of the things that I said to her was, well, I said to them was, you guys need to be thinking about what comes afterwards,
Afterwards, yes.
because
After
this is
this.
a 3-year course.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing when you're done?
Okay.
And they're looking at starting a little coffee shop. Um,
Okay.
they're very excited. Tomorrow they're supposed to be getting their uniforms, so they'll start doing practicals and
Practicals.
start,
Okay.
cooking and
That's
and
exciting.
and doing, all of that.
Mm.
Um, and the school is apparently the top school in the top, or yeah, it's the top school in Gauteng in terms of hospitality, in terms of this specific
Oh,
course.
oh,
So
she's in a good
she
place.
is,
She's in a
yeah,
good
she's in
place.
a good place. She's
Yeah.
in a good place.
Mm.
She's learning.
Mm.
She's okay. She's diligent with the homework and exams and things and that they get done.
Oh, that's good.
But I
She's
still
all grown up.
occasionally shout on a Saturday afternoon when I see her quietly. What are you doing? Oh, nothing, nothing. I'm just reading. No, you're not. You're writing. You're doing homework that should have been done on Friday. Um,
Did you see
but
or have you noticed any, how would I put it now? Like what strengths or what things have you noticed that are positive that has come out from her that you would probably not have seen in the traditional school or the traditional way of schooling would not have been able to draw that out. Am I making sense?
yeah, you are. She was a prefect in high school.
Okay.
Um, and they said she was quite a strong leader.
Okay.
I don't think a traditional school would have been able to draw that out because your traditional schools often tie these things to academics,
Academics. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and to
Mm.
sports. And
Okay.
she's neither. She's not
Mm, yeah, she's not a
sporty.
sports person.
She's not, no,
No,
she's not
we're
academically
not, just like me.
minded.
We're not sports people.
But she's a very, for her, when I said, what are your duties as a prefect?
Mm,
So it was everything from being, the class monitor and keeping things calm. There were a lot of underprivileged kids at the school,
mm,
so she was one of the key people who ran the soup kitchen.
okay.
Um, so she had a lot of
Got that.
responsibility.
Yes, yes.
She was the teacher's aide and she helped the teacher.
Mm,
Um, So I know even when she slips up and she doesn't do things,
Mhm.
uh, or does she think it's my love language to shout like a crazy person? Because
Oh gosh.
I know
I I think I need
she
to
knows how
interview
to get things
I
done
think
when
I
we're
need to
not
interview
home.
children, especially daughters, to say, please, what do you think your mother's love language is? They probably are going to say shouting.
Shouting.
They're probably going to say shouting.
I know,
Mm,
I
okay.
know. But she's
Mm,
you know, and I mean at the most at the height of our frustration, you
mm.
know, we'd meet new people and we'd say, "Oh, do you have a son who's looking for a wife? We've got we've got a daughter." You know, and we were
Yeah.
only half joking.
Okay. One thing that, and this is very bad because I'm an educator, and I have seen, I mean, obviously, I grew up in the, even before I became a teacher, it's all assessment, it's all about assessment, it's all about the scores and all of that. And I remember I was actually saying it in school today that I wasn't even a good student when I was in school. And I was a full grown adult when I decided, I don't think I'm stupid. Really, I don't think I'm stupid. I'm going to go back and do this thing, you know? And I
Mhm,
decided to do O levels. I went Cambridge way. I decided to do it. And I'm like, I'm not stupid. I just wasn't interested or I just didn't learn in that particular way. And it took for
mhm,
me to be all grown up to be able to say, okay, this is what works for me. This is how I can learn. And I
mhm,
mean, when I remember when I told my friends I was a teacher, they were like,
mhm.
what?
Ooh, people's
Of all
children.
the people that will be teachers, you. So, do you think schools need to balance this out, or there should just be, just like you were, instead of it being so difficult to find a school
Mm,
that could take care of a child who not necessarily special needs, they just learned in a different way. Because I think sometimes when we say special needs, it's just all sorts of learning abilities, or I don't want to say disabilities, all sorts of alternative learning ways. We just put
mm,
everything together and we say special needs, you know,
yes.
because a child who has who reads with braille, it is special needs. You need to go to a
Yeah.
school where that is available. A child who reads with sign language, you need to go to a school where that is available.
Mm,
But a child who doesn't have all that, but still the way they learn is different, do we call them special? Why do we call them special needs? So in all that you've been through, how do you think mainstream education can help, or what we can do? I'm not sure if anybody's going to listen, anybody listening to this can do anything, but you never know. This, I'm
mm.
praying, is going to help somebody, some child out there somewhere, some parent, to see there's hope.
Children do learn differently, and I think I'm seeing it more. I look at my three. You
Hmm.
know, my eldest son is very he's a machine. He will sit down, he will do that work, he will exceed. So with the ACE system, he flourished because
Okay.
in a year he was doing a grade and a half, a grade and a quarter.
Okay.
So he was just plowing through, you know, and they score very high, you know, with
Okay.
ACE, anything below 80% is a fail. And he's taken
Okay.
that
Hmm.
thinking with him. He went on, he started doing a a a, a degree or diploma in marketing at IMM.
Okay.
And he was being funded at the time by a friend of ours. And he got 79%. And he called her in tears, I have failed you with a 79%.
Okay.
You know, on his first year because he took it and it was like, no, 79 in the rest of the
It's a
world
B. That's good.
it's a B, it's a good
Hmm.
grade.
Hmm.
It's a good grade, but he works very hard and he's an overachiever. Um, and then there's her, and then my our youngest was interesting because he would when he was young, his teacher used to say that um, he's tricky because he can read a closed book. So if the teacher has read a book to
You just
him,
crammed it.
he will read he's got a photographic memory.
Mhm.
So word for word, he knows this page. So he'll be reading, but he's looking, you know, and he's turning the page at the right time.
Mm.
Um, so we had to be aware of it, and even when they were doing reading with him, they
Okay.
would make him
Mm.
read like in the middle of the book and then read
Okay.
random pages to make sure that he's actually reading,
Okay.
and that he understands what he's reading.
Okay.
Um, and then he moved into the Cambridge system.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the always the straight A student,
Mm-hmm.
top of the class. Um, but as he's getting older, we're understanding that the way he needs a lot of structure, he needs a
Okay.
lot of discipline, he needs quiet, um, because the smallest thing will make him explode, and then and that's everything
Mm-hmm.
goes upside down.
Okay.
Um, and then he's lost focus, and then we're in trouble. Um, But then his school does interesting things, like, they will allow him to, if the cloud is being rowdy or whatever, he can tell the teacher that, I can't concentrate, and he's allowed to leave the class and go for a walk around the field and then come back. Um, his school does things like there's a child who's dyslexic, so the parents are paying for a scribe.
Okay.
So the child will listen and the scribe will read and write for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he does his tests away from everyone else.
Okay.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so there's strategies that schools can put in place, but schools need to be willing. Educators aren't the be all and end all, and that have all the answers.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
may know your subject, but you don't know this child,
No, we
and
don't.
you
Mm.
may not necessarily know the specific needs of
Of
this
that
child.
child. Yes, you're right.
So educators need to be willing to listen and engage with parents and engage with children as well.
Yeah, but I think also to defend educators, right now, I need to defend my people. Some things are possible when you're in a private school. Okay, it's
Yes.
much more possible in
Oh,
a private
mm,
school. And I'm not saying the teachers in the public school are any, they're not as good as, or that the teachers in
mhm.
the private school are better. It's just that to say you're going to get a scribe in a public school for a child, how many children are
Yeah.
you going to get scribes for? And the public school is overcrowded. So the teachers sometimes cannot even see all the children. You don't
Yes.
even know that. And so it's easy for a child with educational learning, with a learning disability to disappear in the crowd.
Yes.
If you have a class, I can't imagine if I have a class of 40. I probably won't go the next day. I'll go day one.
Mm,
When they show me my class, you're not going to see me the next day. Because how are you going to do it? Because I get
yeah.
very involved. I want to know what's going on here, why this is not happening, why this is happening, within the boundaries of what we're allowed to do. And if the parent, sometimes the parents also don't know. I always blame parents, I can't lie, that this is your child. You got to know what's going on. And
Mm,
I've had occasion where I had to blame myself. I say, I've been so busy with other people's children, I've neglected the one that is mine because I just assume because I'm a teacher, then obviously I don't know how that I thought automatically it will just
yes.
go onto my child, cling onto her somewhere. But obviously it didn't work out like that. So schools, I think, do that which they can
Hmm.
within what they have, but some things like getting a scribe. I did find out something. There was a student that I found. She also was dyslexic, but she had a pen that
A
would
pen.
read for her. Yes, she would. I don't know how it works, but it will read because some kids it's just that when the teacher explains, you understand, but when they read it, it doesn't make sense. So the
Mm,
pen reads, and then she's able to write the answer by herself. So there are all sorts of options that are available, but how many teachers, how many, what would I call it? How many
parents.
parents can afford them? How many parents even know? So for me, I always feel that the parents are at fault.
Mm,
Sometimes it is ignorance, okay? And especially if you're old school, like the way I grew up, where I'm sure kids had problems then, but you just go to school. Everybody does it. If you said, why? You're not the first child.
mm,
The ones who are in school who are passing, they
yeah.
have two heads. Da, 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 da. That was it, and that was the end of it. And you either made it's a sink or swim situation. But
Mm,
there is the opportunity to learn more about your children. The internet is not as bad as we think. Okay, it is bad. I lie. It is bad, but it has also made the world come into our house, which means you can find out what is going on, or you can at least research. You can talk to people. You can, if a child is not doing as well as you think they should be doing, it's not always the teacher's fault. I'm not saying the
mm.
teachers are not sometimes not at fault, but it's not always the teacher's fault. And this is just not me supporting my brothers and sisters. The truth is, it just might. It's no, it's the truth. It just might
No,
not
I
be
know.
working.
I
You
know.
know,
You're right.
your child could be in a particular kind of school that is not working for that child.
Mm,
These days, it has come out that there are all sorts of ways to educate your children. Kids are homeschooled, which I
true.
would do unless you are very good and you're very disciplined. I can't do homeschooling. I know that I can't. Parents have to be disciplined, child has to be. It's the truth. I get bored quite quickly. Sometimes I say maybe I also have attention deficiency, yeah, because I get bored quite quickly. So I need to move around. I need to do. But you know what I found out about myself when I went back to school and I did the O levels, and then I was still working. I didn't change my job. And then when I did, before I got where I did the Montessori training for my diploma in 2022. No, 2002. I like 2002. And for me, yes, the theory was about the practicality of it. I realized, this is it. This is me. I can't sit down
Mm,
and just be. I need to move. I need to do this. I need to touch things. I'm actually more tactile than I thought I was. I need all,
yeah.
as of that time, I need all of that. And like a child, I needed to hear that validation from my children. Oh,
Mm,
how good my teacher is and how this is a. So I found what worked for me. Now, for a
yeah.
child, if you are a parent, and your child is not doing as well as you think they should be, to be fair, not all the children are going to be A plus. So let's just leave that. Okay. But if your
Mm.
child is not doing well, not even well to your own expectations, but are they doing well at all? You need to go to the school and find out, what what
Yeah.
what could be the problem, or speak to your child. Math is always going to be the bane of my existence. I'm never going to get it right.
Mm,
And I'm not going to kill myself about it. It's kind
mm.
of late anyway to die on maths now. But it's not, I find also, it's not as difficult as I thought, up to a certain level.
Yes.
Teachers make a big difference in the life of a child. So, for a child, for parents, that's where I'm going, who might be struggling. Some parents have discovered, okay, this child is not learning in what we call the normal way, okay? What advice will you give to that parent? Because I know you are a fighter. It doesn't even have to just do with your children. You're ready to fight any game. So you fought for your child, okay?
Mm,
In the sense that you were going everywhere. I need to make this right for my child. It's not my child's fault. I am the parent. I need to make this right. I need to make education available for her. And some parents have tried, I think, or I really don't know how to ask this question because I've not been there. I have been there in the
mm.
sense that my child didn't do as well, and I was embarrassed on my own behalf. I was angry with myself that I didn't say this, but I did what I needed to do to correct what was going on. But what do you say to a parent currently fighting for their child's education, seeing all the things that you've gone through? What would you say to them?
You know what? I realized since coming back,
Mm.
I realized that there are a whole lot more options.
Yes, now there are a lot
In
of options. Yeah.
There are a lot of options.
Hmm.
There are a lot of options in terms of everything from homeschool. to the different kinds of school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Access to remedial schools has also
Mm-hmm.
just blown up. There's when we moved back, we were looking for a school for our youngest one,
Mm-hmm.
who was in grade 4. And one of the schools that we walked into, they said, "Oh no, this is this is a remedial school. Does your child?" And literally, if we had said, "But he needs to be in a remedial school," they were prepared to sign him up. Then done. He starts
Things are a
tomorrow.
bit easier.
Sorry?
Are things easier now to find a
I
school?
think things have gotten a lot easier.
Okay.
And I think schools are seeing that there's a definite need,
Mm-hmm.
and they're making it easier.
Okay.
I don't know if that was a private school, if it was a government school,
Okay.
what it was. It's Orion, it's there. It's in Randburg.
Mm.
It's it is there.
Okay.
Um, but I think also tools, as you were saying, the internet is there. But parents need to be willing to parent. And I think that is what breaks my heart. Um, Now I was and then I was a single mom with 2 kids who
Okay.
was, you know, doing a very taxing job and then struggling to understand when I'd come home from work at, 10, 12, 2 o'clock in the
Mm.
morning. What do you mean homework wasn't done? What do you mean I now have a meeting with your teacher? I we're shooting. I need to be on set at six
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, so it was hard. It was very hard then to do it alone.
Okay.
It was very hard. Um, my son once put it, he was just like, the reason I always do everything right is I don't want to give you any more stress
Oh,
than you
that's so
currently
nice.
have. And he was very much
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
he was very mindful of that.
Okay.
So he would do his work and then he would check on his sisters, and then he'd be, she
Oh.
hasn't done the math. You
Mm.
know, Mom, that lady's not understanding. I don't know what to do.
Mm.
Um, so it helped. I was laughing when you said that you're not you can't homeschool, you can't, because I
God.
know I can't. My I would not have children, they would be dead. So
Oh
even with COVID,
God.
even with COVID,
Mm.
I've since got married. My husband was the one who was the primary teacher,
Mhm.
because we
Mhm.
realized very quickly that
You have
I
no
do not have the
patience.
patience.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
you have
you
no
know
patience. Yeah, I know.
I'm the fun
Mm.
parent. I'm the parent who would do like the
Mm,
science experiment. We're gonna make a volcano in the garden,
mm, mm,
and then we'll do notes on that. I'm the
mm,
parent who will do the project.
mhm,
I'm the parent who will,
mhm.
you know, uh, let's make bread and talk about what yeast is doing.
Okay.
Do not
Mm.
have me sitting there looking at whatever
At
it is.
paper. What side
I
would you
don't
say, because you've gone through it, I could say A, B, C, D, but you've gone through it. What signs would you say parents need to look out for in their children?
look out for, listen to your children. If your child starts saying, um, somebody said I'm stupid, or the teacher said this, or I'm not happy,
Hmm.
um, listen to them, pay attention to them.
Okay.
Our youngest one now is very vocal. He will get, you'll go and pick him up from school, and already when you see him coming, you'll see that there's a problem. Um,
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to have it out with the school. Um, with the teacher, with principals, with deputies, with whoever
Okay.
you need to.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid to go to them and say, we're having this problem.
Hmm.
We had an incident with Afrikaans, which we've never done, and he's now doing Afrikaans for the first time in his life. And the Afrikaans teacher, they did a test. He didn't understand anything on that paper, so he had a lot of blanks. And comes and he complains that no. the invigilator was asking me what's wrong that that I don't understand and I don't speak Afrikaans. So you know, I, I wrote to I wrote immediately to the school and to the teacher, saying, you know, don't be looking at my small mixed race boy and start thinking that he's colored and he must be speaking Afrikaans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those kinds of assumptions make me wonder as a parent if the school is giving him a lower grade because he is supposed to understand this and he doesn't.
Ooh.
And they were very quick to say, no,
Mm.
no, 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 no. You know, we're not grading him based on that. We're grading him based on, you know, based
What is
on the
done?
paper.
Mm-hmm.
But that comment from the invigilator was out of line. So
Mm.
we will be taking it up with him.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so we must fight because if you don't fight for your children, who will?
Yeah, yeah. My child said something the other day. She said, I said, but you know, I'm going to fight for you. You know, I fight for you. And she said, yeah, you fight for me when it's academics. And I was like, huh? I fight for you whichever way. It's not, I'm not, which made me
Yes.
realize that she thinks I'm only interested in the academics. So you
Mm,
are right. We need to listen to our children because even in the things they say, that you think it's jovial or just, just a throwaway remark, it actually can tell us what they're thinking and where they
mm.
are. I was quite surprised when she said that. She thinks her godfather would fight for her any which way, anytime, anywhere. But me, apparently, apparently, I'm only interested in the academics, and that was quite surprising. Um, if your daughter was to watch this interview, how do you think she was going? I would like her to watch both of them if she was going to watch it, the first one, and then where we are today, 6 years later. Do you think she will feel? Okay, don't let me put words in your mouth. How do you think she'll feel? Because I know what's in my head.
I think
I'm
she'll be
asking that.
proud.
Sorry, let me explain properly. I'm asking that with the where she's coming from. And now that she's older and more matured and she's more settled, I've seen her, she's more settled.
Mm.
Will she understand the struggles or what she went through or what you went through for her to get to where she is today? Do you think she will see that?
I think she does.
Okay,
I
you
think
think
she
she
does
does.
because
Okay.
I was struggling with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was there when we got sent to, you know, somebody recommended a school all the way in Alberton, and we went all that way, and we did a walkthrough of the school. Then we had to come back, drive all that way again, and she had to sit an exam,
Mm-hmm.
and they rejected her. You know, and I was there with her with the hurt and the
I
whatever,
was going to say, how did that feel to
saying
you?
to, and you know and that no, but these people don't know what they're talking about. You know, they're making a decision about you based on one bad day
Mm-hmm.
when it is a school that is supposed to be a remedial
Yeah,
school
that's
that helps
quite
and supports.
surprising. Yeah, yeah.
But then, you know, the school in Lady Brand, we got there, and what was fascinating about that one
Mm.
was, you know, it was a friend's niece. You know,
Okay.
we bumped into them on the street, and then and she was with her grandmother, and her grandmother was like, no, but there's you know, this school where this one was going, you know, just around the corner. So immediately went and, you know, saw the principal. And he was like, how old is she? Okay, we need to get her enrolled now because she's about to age out and they won't allow
Mhm.
us, you know, allow her into into the system. So
Mhm.
I'm enrolling her now. If you're willing, we will enroll her now, and then I will go and fight with Free State Education
Oh wow.
about enrolling this child.
Mm.
So it was and I think her hearing that was like, oh, a whole principal is going to fight for me. Um and that gave her the confidence she needed
Mhm.
to then excel and thrive at the school.
Yeah, yeah. I think kids need to know
And
that we are ready to fight for them. They need
Yeah.
to know their parents are ready to fight for them and really fight about legitimate things, eh?
Yes.
Fight about things worth fighting for. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because as you're talking and that question came into my head, I'm thinking I would like for her to feel, to see, or to hear the love in your voice that you were willing to go to any extent. Let's go. Where are we going? We went here, we went there, whether it was in Joburg, whether it was in Lesotho, you were ready to go whatever extra length you needed to for her to get the qualification that was necessary. Okay. If And I think, that should say it's more than the grades. It's not whether you got an A or a B or a C student. It's that I wanted you to have the education
Mm.
that you deserve. Not what I want for, not I want my children to be educated, but you deserve to be educated. There shouldn't be any obstacle to your being educated in any which way that I can afford. You get what I'm saying? I would really like for us to be able to see that this wasn't just about my brother is in school, then I have to go to school. You know, that it was more than
It's
that.
actually, for me, it goes beyond that. The whole point of an education, I mean, I look at, so I did IGCSE, and then I went on and did IB, the International Baccalaureate, and I did higher level chemistry, biology, English.
Really,
You
you're a
know,
science person.
yes. Of all of those things, the only thing I'm using is the English.
Yeah.
And the chemistry was great. We used to blow things up in the lab. The biology was great. At some point, I thought I was going to be a vet, but I'm not doing it now. So I think for me, the important thing is you need an education that is going to give you tools to be able to be flexible
Yeah.
and able to think so that you can work and do something with your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think what we also forget is we get so bogged down with the academics. But a lot of the stuff that the kids are being taught now, I can log on to Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT and a few prompts and it spits it out for me.
Yeah.
So a lot of jobs now are being replaced by AI. And that is just the way of the world. So you're busy focusing on, children getting, excuse me, these very high grades and whatever. Is it going to be relevant
No.
in 5, 10, 15 years time? Um, I was fascinated. I read an article that says that UCT is starting to allow students to use AI generated papers
Are you
in,
sure?
in
That's
in
that I
certain in certain or not fully generated, because they're saying
okay.
at the end of the day, I can't just put in a prompt. I still need to read it. I still need to research it. I still need to
I don't
check
think
and counter
students are
check.
doing that.
Huh?
I don't think students are doing that. Just last night, I read that UJ banned some students for 2 years. They're not allowed to write exams for 2 years because I think they submitted papers written by AI. So just like I was saying the other time, the internet is not the problem. It is how you use it. It's like
It's
everything
how you
else.
use it. It's a
Because it's
tool.
so good. I have basically gone to school, learned stuff that I didn't know about or that I needed explanation on, thanks to one program or the other, or some
Mm.
teacher somewhere sitting down and explaining this to other people. But when you use AI, and I know anybody watching, I know you see the two of us, there are some things where we agree on. We're going away from the child now. But the truth is, I don't mind a student using AI if it is not to enhance your work, but to understand. Because if you submit, and
Yeah.
I had to tell my students this today in at least 3 classes, that this is what happened to the students in UJ.
Mm.
I'm not saying don't use AI, but use it to
It's
enhance
a
what
support.
yes. And then, right, it's as bad as plagiarism. You didn't do the work. You're sitting down there and you want me to give you a full mark.
Let me see if I can find it.
Eh? Are you checking it out?
I'm checking it out.
Yes, I can send
UCT
you.
students are increasingly using AI for academic work.
Yep.
So there's a framework using ethical, human-centered, critical AI literacy rather than reliance on detection tools.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the way their thing.
Yeah, and what I really so of course everybody, I think I saw it on Facebook last night, and it was like, how can you ban them? How can you tell them not to use AI? Teachers are using it. And one person, I don't know, male or female, said she graduated from UJ last year, and there is a course that university actually holds or runs to tell you how you can use it. No, not to then throw it
Mm,
out of the what is accepted, what is not.
yes,
Because sometimes we're screaming and all of that. And it would be so foolish to say students are not going to use AI in this day and age. It would
they're
be
going
so
to use
foolish.
it.
It
They're
would be
going to
very
use it.
foolish. So,
You just need to have frameworks in terms of how it can be used.
yeah. And I was
And
glad that she
but
said that. I was glad that she said that because then you know that they were not just, but if you sit down, you go clubbing, you whatever, and then turn in the paper, you just, okay, turn in this paper, and then
no,
the
no, no,
same
no.
grades. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair.
No, that's
Mm-mm. Anyway, because now knowing us now, we're going to go in another tangent. Thank you so much for talking to me again. Let me ask one last question. I don't think the two of us can make changes in school, but how would you encourage, and I think that's another difficult thing. Not every parent is able to do this. How would you encourage your child, because at one point they do know that they're not doing as well academically as their peers in school. Now, how would you as a parent encourage that child? Because you're encouraging yourself as well. It
mm,
feels we're just humans. Everybody's child seems to be moving forward. Why not mine? What is wrong here? Why is this happening? You know. But how do you do it so that you don't transfer that sadness, fault, whatever it is, to the
mhm.
child and still encourage that child? Because there is more to them than the academics. There is
Uh,
more to them than the academics. So how do you encourage them?
it's what you're saying. It's you as a parent, you parents I think too many parents aren't parenting. Too many
Oh, please, let's
parents,
not even start that. That needs to be like a roundtable discussion with moms, parents who are like, who is the parent in this? So let's not do that today now.
yeah, but it's true. Your the welfare of your child is actually your responsibility. It's
Yeah.
not the teacher's responsibility. It's not the school's responsibility. The teacher is there to teach, to support, whatever. But at the end of the day, your child's mental health rests on your shoulders as the parent. You need to be aware of what is going on in your child's life.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
are we are past the age of, oh, I was shocked, I was surprised by XYZ happening. Are you speaking to your children daily? Are you engaging with them daily? Are you bringing them in and talking to them about world events and about their friends, about their lives, about their dreams, about what they want to accomplish? Are you inspiring them to think about these things?
Yeah.
Or are you just focused on the academics? We need to do better. Just as parents, we need to do better.
We need to do better. We need to do better. Thank you, Patronella. We will have a roundtable discussion on parenting. Wow, we say
Hey,
parent. Yes, you need to be parent. We'll have to look for people from different age groups, eh? Old, young. I don't even. Let me not even start. Let me not start. Thank you so much.
yeah.
I know you need to go help him study for exams. We are back in school,
Mm,
eh? If your child is in school, you're also in school these days. There is no.
yeah.
Yeah, we're just all going to go and do that.
Yeah.